Hello, this is How To Bob, and I made this video to show you how to change out the condenser in an automobile. We tested the automobile for leak using a UV light and UV dye, and we found that the condenser was bad. You can see the green here that shows up under the UV light. So we're going to get started by taking out the condenser right here, which is in front of the radiator. So the first thing we're going to do is take the radiator housing off here, or the radiator bracket. There's one on either side that holds the radiator to the front of the car. So we're going to loosen both of those bolts up, and we don't need to take the radiator out on this car. And then there's another bolt down towards the middle of the radiator that also has to be removed, one on this side here. And then we're going to gently push the radiator back, and I've got a couple of boards that I'm going to put in there just to hold the radiator back so that we can get to the bolts around the condenser. And you can see there's a bolt way down in here, and I just loosened the bolt on the condenser on that side. Once I get that loosened up, I can go ahead and remove it all the way. Now there's one on the other side. It's kind of hard to see way down in here, but this bolt will hold the connection together where the Freon flows into the condenser. So once I get that, I'm going to pull it apart, and you can see where the UV dye was in there. Now I've got another bolt on the front of the condenser that's holding it to the radiator, and I just remove that one. Once I get that out of there, it's a little tight down in the front of the condenser. Once I get that one out, I can go ahead and slide the condenser up and out the front of the car. Now the next thing I want to do before I put my new one in is clean the connection, the manifold where it connects to the condenser. I want to make sure that's good and clean. And just wipe that all the old oil, compressor oil off. And then I'm going to come back in, wipe off the gasket, and once I get this all cleaned up, I'm going to take my gasket seal. I just put a little bit of that on and then smear it around so that it has a nice even coat all the way around the manifold. I want to make sure I don't have any leaks in my system, so that it stays pressurized and continues to work for a good long time. Then I'm going to put my gasket back on, and I'll then come back in and put a little bit more sealant on the gasket and smear it around. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. I always do that, just a precautionary measure, just to make sure it's good and sealed. So here's my new condenser. I'm going to go ahead and take the caps out. I'll go ahead and put another coat of sealant around this manifold. Once I get it all smeared around nice and smooth and even, I can then go ahead and put it in. Now a little bumper that I just showed you there will go into a little pocket down here, and it just sits all the way down at the bottom. And once you get it seated in the right spot, it'll kind of lock right into place, and everything should line right up. So we can start putting the bolts back in. Start with the bracket here, and then I can go ahead and put the rest of my bolts in, put my manifold back on, match it up to the condenser, get everything hand tight first, then go ahead and use a wrench to tighten it up so we don't cross thread any of the bolts. And then I can push my radiator back up to the car and tighten my mounting bolts for the radiator. And I've got one on the other side, and after that, all that's left to do is charge up my system and give it a test run. And you can see it starts out pretty hot and it gets cool real quick. I'm How To Bob. Thanks for watching.